the government has released a majority of their case against Casanova two-time and the Gorilla Stone Bloods. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. It does not look good. Me and the Notification Gang would like to invite everybody to come join us Monday through Thursday, 9:20 to 10 o'clock for morning coffee, where we discuss the events of the prior day and also just talk mess about stuff. See you then.
Oh, Black Dynamite, I wish it was that simple, but this is much bigger than you and me.
Hey, little mama, it may be bigger than you, and it may be bigger than me, but it ain't bigger than you and me. Can you dig it?
BBN! Jack Frost!
Mike, Chai.
What's up, party people? Alright, so... yeah! So apparently, the government has decided to state their case against Casanova two-time in the RICO case that he's currently going to court for. And a lot of Casanova two-time supporters are probably shaking in their boots. Okay. Now, just so we can be clear, we have the audio. I'm about to play it in 2 seconds. It's a little lengthy, but it does a lot of explaining. And I'm just gonna be honest with you. After you hear the audio, before I come back on and say, close it out with my commentary about what the audio say, I would like for you guys to do two things. Well, one thing. The first thing I would like for you to do is, after you hear the audio, to go down, write part 1, and tell me what you think about basically what the Attorney General, I'm assuming that's who that is, whoever that guy is, the prosecutor is, what he said. And then after you hear my commentary, right, I want you to go down there again and write part 2 and tell me about how do you feel about what they said now. Does it change your perspective? Do you, after hearing my commentary, or do you still feel similarly the same way, whether you agree with me, disagree with me, whatever that is? That's what I would like for you guys to do. Anybody that would like to leave a comment. Alright, so here goes the prosecutor talking a mess.
Defendant has also promoted gang meetings and grown and amplified the gang's message and reach, or as he says in his own words, putting this apeshit worldwide. Releasing the defendant from custody risks considerable danger to the community, and any suggestion by the defense that the defendant is either not a member of Gorilla Stone or that he's merely merely a musician or an ambassador is simply not persuasive when the defense claims that. As we noted in our submission, the defendant's a full-fledged, unquestioned leader of the gang. This isn't about rap lyrics or promoting a musical career or marketing or promoting his music. It's about clear and reliable evidence of his gang leadership. As an initial matter, the grand jury, of course, returned the indictment charging the defendant in a racketeering conspiracy count. And in the defendant's own words, in a November 2019 radio interview with Nick Cannon, the defendant made clear that he is, quote-unquote, still Ape, that is, a member of Gorilla Stone. And beyond the defendant's public admissions, what he says in private messages powerfully show his prominent role in the gang. In a September 2019 text message, for example, he brags, "I'm under Dick Wolf, the godfather of all apes." Couldn't be clearer. He's under the founder and leader of Gorilla Stone, his co-defendant, Dwight Reed. Take another example. In an August 2020 text message, He actively promotes guerrilla stone meetings, calling them mandatory. And he warns members if they don't show up, they will be wiped down. He requests that members pay dues to his co-defendant and friend, Walter Luster, also known as Shells. And in another example, in a December 2019 text message, he tells Dwight Reed's wife, the wife of the head honcho, "I ain't playing, sis. I'm putting this ape shit map worldwide." That is, he's serious. He's promoting and growing the reach of the violent gang. Second, there's the overwhelming weight of the evidence, which was strong the day he was indicted, some of which I just recapped and is further set forth in our written submission, and is only getting stronger as these devices from co-defendants such as Chrysler have been downloaded, inspected, and reviewed. Similarly unpersuasive is the defense suggestion along the lines that the defendant's Instagram is not his real life, that his public persona is an embellished work of fiction, that he only pretends to be violent on social media and in public, that this is all some sort of act and giant work of fiction. As we note in our submission, the overwhelming, reliable evidence demonstrates that in private communications and on photos on his private iCloud, this defendant is a narcotic supplier and dealer. He possesses an array of weapons, and as Luster told Reed during a recorded prison visit, he even accidentally fired his gun during a poker game in New York City and always had a gun on him. That is, it's not just a bunch of hype. It's not a bunch of puffing and posturing and trying to seem cool on social media, which we know from the violent incident. We also know it's not a bunch of puffing and posturing because when the defendant and his co-defendant don't think anyone is looking or listening, such as in their private meetings, photos, texts, and calls, there is rampant evidence of guns, drugs, and violence essentially involving this defendant. A third statutory factor is, of course, the history and characteristics of the defendant. It's worth noting he's a career offender with a very violent history.
A participant has joined the conference.
The charged conduct is all the more disturbing given the extent of criminal history and the fact that he engaged in this conduct while on pretrial release for yet another violent felony in New York State. Little need be said about the criminal history. He has 6 criminal convictions, including 3 separate first-degree robbery convictions for 3 gunpoint robberies. 2 of these convictions are for forcible theft armed with a deadly weapon, and the third for the use or the threatened use of a dangerous instrument. 2 of these convictions resulted in concurrent 6-year jail sentences, and the third, a YO offense, resulted in a term of 1 to 3 years imprisonment. And in public interviews describing these prior gunpoint robberies, the defendant has admitted that he oftentimes was the person carrying the gun and threatening innocent store owners, and he wasn't some mere bystander in these incidents. Moreover, there's the pending second-degree robbery charge in New York State for a 4th violent felony, for which he's been on pretrial release, and for which his co-defendant in that case pled guilty and was sentenced to 5 years imprisonment. That's the case in the diner, where the defendant triggered a violent attack on a female victim, seemingly because the defendant suspected her of filming him on her cell phone, resulting in Senior lunging at the victim to snatch the phone, and Senior's underling doing the dirty work of violently choking her out in the melee. Now, for his part, the defense concedes the violence of the prior gunpoint robbery convictions, but argues that these were long ago and the defendant is a new man today than he was back then. And that may be so, Your Honor, but in response, we respectfully note that the recent conduct is every bit as bad, including the defendant leading and supplying a narcotics distribution operation, possessing firearms, and leading a gang wherein he instigated multiple violent incidents that we discussed, including the strip club shooter. In that shooting in October of 2020, victims were airlifted to a hospital, and just because the defendant is now close to the very top of the enterprise and had more junior members pull the trigger and choke out the victim, this does not absolve him of responsibility. Far from it. In short, the only thing the passage of time from his 3 prior first-degree convictions has established is that the defendant has moved up from the more junior role as muscle to a leadership role, where he has his underling do the dirty work on his and the gang's behalf. The 4th statutory factor is the nature and seriousness of the danger. And I won't further beat the dead horse. I think that it's been covered above in describing the conduct. With regards to flight risk, Your Honor, the government doesn't press this ground as hard as the palpable danger argument, but we do agree with pretrial services. The defendant is a risk of flight. The charges carry a significant mandatory minimum and a statutory maximum sentence of life. The defendant isn't safety valve eligible, and those penalties, coupled with the strong evidence, create every incentive for him to flee and not serve the lengthy sentence that he faces. And ultimately, notwithstanding the self-surrender in this case, the defendant's conduct in the moments after he learned that the FBI was looking for him, whereby he dropped his phone, made his way from Atlanta to New York and several states in between, and somehow evaded detection and apprehension by the FBI, who was looking for him during a nearly 2-day period, shows both an ability to skillfully evade law enforcement detection and the willingness to do so, at least for a period of time. In short, Your Honor, the defendant has not rebutted the presumption in favor of detention, and in the end, as pretrial services has recommended, the defendant poses a serious danger to the community and risk of flight. Detention is warranted.
First thing I want to say is shout out to all other YouTube content creators, all of y'all, whether we get along or we don't. Shout out to all other YouTube content creators that cover this type of content where we're speaking about court cases and hip hop specifically. But I just want to be clear on something. There has not been a hip hop case that we have discussed over here where I have not been on point. Every case that we've discussed over here involving hip hop and the police, I have been on point. I just want to say that. I get it though. I'm not reading from a script. I'm not reading you paperwork. I get it. But I've been on point with telling y'all how a lot of these things were going to work out and how a lot of these cases were going to play out. I don't say that to pat myself on the back. I say that because right now I'm telling you, they do not want Casanova. They don't care. Pardon me. They don't care if Casanova 2 times snitches or not. I'm going to say this again. They don't care if Casanova 2 times snitches or not. Not at this point. They're past that. I'm going to explain something real quick. This is just my opinion, and I'm not saying that he's not going to snitch. I don't think he is. And one of the main reasons why I don't think he is listen to what they said. What he said was they have an audio recording of Casanova 2 times saying that he's under Dick Wolf. Basically, Casanova 2 times saying that is Dick Wolf, and then it's Casanova 2 times and everybody that's on his level of the organization. That he's at one of the top rungs of the organization. You see, when he said that, and when they got a word of that, that made him a prime individual that they would like to give time to. Now, with all that being said, I am pretty sure that when they first said they were looking to arrest him, if he would have went the Tekashi 6ix9ine way, he would be a free man. That's one. Two, remember before he went in, when Casanova 2 times said, "I'm a gangster," he was not lying. And there's a good chance that he already knew that they don't even want nothing from him. Do you understand why they want you to snitch? They want you to snitch because you have information that they don't have. They might have all the information on Casanova 2 times, or at least all the information that he has that can help them with any case. So when Casanova 2 times basically said, "I'm a gangster," he wasn't saying that to be like, "I'm not gonna snitch." He was probably saying that to let everybody know, look, I can't even snitch if I wanted to. Hold on. Let me put y'all into something else. That's the first point I wanted to make. I'm not saying he's not going to snitch, by the way. I just don't see that in this particular situation. It's another point that I want to make. further solidifying his position as one of the top people on the pyramid, on the ladder, whatever you want to call it, totem pole. Do y'all remember when that situation happened in that diner where the girl got choked out, her phone, whatever, because she was filming them? I want to be clear on something. That girl was filming them, following them. I'm going to say that again. That girl was filming them and following them. I don't know for who, but that girl was filming them and following them. They were not wrong that she was doing that. I'm not saying they should have did what they did, though. And with all that being said, the dude that yoked her up, he's already pled guilty. I think he's already in jail doing his time. I think that's shells, if I'm not wrong. If I'm wrong, put it down in the comment section to help me out. But that's shells. They have Casanova 2-time, either on tape or in text message, telling people that they got to pay Shell's dues. Meaning that I'm assuming they have to put money on his books or other different type of things because he's locked up. Get it? He's higher up in the organization. He's telling people what they have to do. You get it yet? This is all how they're building the case that he's one of the heads of the Gorilla Stone Bloods. Now, just 1 second. I just want to break off and say something because this is pertaining to the point I'm making right now, the second point. Why do you think he's texting out that people that he thought was going to be basically standing with him forgot he existed? That's why he's texting that out. Because when other people got jammed up, when other people got caught up, when other people got locked up or whatever the case is, he was doing what was supposed to be done and saying, yo, look, we got to take care of that person. Could we just, I want everybody to go down that's still in the video. I want y'all to go down there and say shout out to Troy Ave. Streets is a myth. Because if you're trying to tell me that he was keeping himself that close to what the rules and the regulations is, and then people aren't then reciprocating, I don't know what else to say. Personally, I think people are just scared. They don't want to get caught up because that's what I personally think it is. I don't think it's a they forgot about Cass, they don't love Cass. I think it's just that they don't want to get caught up situation in this particular what's going on. Okay, that's the second point that I want to make. The third point I want to make is this. This has nothing to do with his position in the organization. This third point is why he did not get bail. Also, those other points are why he did not get bail. Just so we can be clear. But they need a reason to say that they believe that you can evade law. Do you get what I'm saying? Okay, for everybody that don't know, it's not whether if you run, they're going to eventually get you or not. You understand what I'm saying? They're not saying, oh, he's going to run and we're just never going to see him again. What they're saying is that when the court date come, we can assure he's going to be here. Then we're going to have to allocate funds to go catch him. We're going to have to allocate resources to go catch him. We're going to have to allocate, basically, we're going to have to go out of our way to then bring him to court because he's not going to come to court on his own, especially after he sees our case. And one of the ways in which they're backing up this particular position that they're holding is that when they said that they wanted him, when he was, the FBI decided that they were going to put the warrant out for his arrest, he was in Atlanta. They're saying somehow he made it all the way from Atlanta to New York without getting apprehended. They don't even know how he did it. 9 times out of 10, they know how he did it. But they don't even know how he did it. They're saying he dubbed his phone, got rid of his phone, made his way back to New York. This is where he gave himself in at. Now, the fact that he gave himself in, I think that, stop. Okay, he gave himself up. But the argument that the government is making, because they don't want to let him out in the first place, is if he can travel all the way from Atlanta to New York and we can't even track him, we don't know what he's doing. What is going to be happening when we're not even looking for him? He could be somewhere doing whatever to whoever. He might be able to make it to one of those countries that don't got extradition. Then what? He might go move in with Russell Simmons. Then what? I mean, I'm pretty sure they're not saying the Russell Simmons line, but you get my point. At this point, it looks like Casanova 2-time is in a lot. I mean, a lot of trouble. Now, this is my fourth point. Real quick. Also, if you just want to refer back to any point in which I'm making, write point 1, 2, 3, 4 or whatever, and so I know what to respond back to. But this is my fourth point. Casanova 2 times, when he was speaking with the brother Nick Cannon, he literally said that he was still gang. He literally said it. He tried to make it sound like, well, you know, I'm not on the forefront. I'm not out there in the trenches with them. But you know, we still over here. I'm still gang. I have not forgotten about my brothers. Basically, is what he was saying. Now, if you take him saying that to Nick Cannon, and then you also take his text messages where he's giving people orders, you also take his text messages where he's actually directing people what crimes to commit and to what not to commit. That's literally proof that he's not only in a gang but still active. That's my fourth point. My fifth point is this. He had a meeting with Dick Wolf, is what they're saying, that was recorded. In that meeting, he basically said that he don't go nowhere without a gun. And there was this one particular time where they was like at a poker game or a dice game or something, and the gun accidentally went off. So he's not only speaking about to a known godfather. He's not only speaking to a known godfather about gang activity, because you have to assume this poker game that he was at or this dice game that he was at, it was a gang function. But he was there strapped. And on top of that, the gun accidentally went off. So yeah, somebody could have got killed. So for everybody that is, want to see this brother come home, I'm not saying I'm not one of them. Understand, they have a steep uphill battle. I don't know how possible it is. All of those points that I just spoke about are things that his defense attorney is going to have to be able to go to court and argue against, amongst other things, just so we can be clear. I want to know which one of these points, 1 through 5, you guys think they could get from under. Because to be perfectly honest with you, it's looking really, really, really bad for Casanova. Yo, let's send our prayers out to that brother. Let's send our prayers out to that brother and his family, his loved ones, his brothers and sisters, both biological and by blood. If you get it, you get it. Because at the end of the day, if he does turn, just so we can be clear, if he does snitch, that's basically because he's gonna give them so many more people that it's gonna be worth it for them to let go of somebody that they're basically saying is one of the top members of the Gorilla Stone Bloods. Like, comment, subscribe. Join the notification gang. Hashtag Bronx Bombers. Let's get it. I love y'all. Take care of each other. Hug the kids for me. I haven't forgotten about you. And that's all I got on this one. I'm out. If you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. If you would like to help dictate the direction that this channel takes, please leave a comment. All comments are appreciated, whether positive or negative. Thank you very much and enjoy your day. And remember, positive thoughts cause for positive things to happen. Let's get it.
Mike Jones.
Oh, Black Dynamite, I wish it was that simple, but this is much bigger than you and me.
Hey, little mama. It may be bigger than you, and it may be bigger than me, but it ain't bigger than you and me. Can you dig it?